a sanctuary. And then take this opportunity to step into the space where our very bodies become a space of sanctuary for us, for each one of us individually, so that we may become a sanctuary space in the world around us. It all starts within. And so we take a moment now to check in with what's inside. What's rolling around in there? We feel inside for any space or place within that feels tense or gripped or less than relaxed. We check into those spaces where we may be feeling discomfort. And we just send them love right now. Whether those be physical spaces, whether those be emotional spaces, spiritual spaces. Just take a moment to feel into what they are, and then without condition, without judgment, bless you, without any attachment to it, we just send them love. No conditions, no judgment. We notice what feels like it needs love, and we just show up as that love. We give ourselves that love first, so that we might be able to give others love. We create that sanctuary within ourselves so that we might provide sanctuary for others. We give ourselves unconditional acceptance so that we can be a space of acceptance for someone else. We feel that love within, that connection to divine source within each one of us. Some of us may call it God, whatever we choose to call it, that connection to the allness that is, that begins within. We send that space love. We stand in strength, knowing that we are here on purpose and with purpose to fulfill what is ours and only ours to fulfill. Just let that land for a minute. Feel within each one of us, I am here to do something no one else can do. I am here to be something no one else can be. And I am here by divine appointment on purpose to do what is mine to do. And then we shift that slightly and feel within, I can. I can. I am capable of doing and being what I am here to do and be. I have the power and strength. I have the resources. I have the ability. And I love me for that. And I love myself into that. So we're just going to go into the silence for just a moment, and while we head there, catch hold of the feeling of love and give it to yourself for just a moment in the silence. And then with another breath, you can do it on the outside of your body or just on the inside of your body, but give yourself a hug. The love that I give to the world begins within. The love that I bring to the world begins within. The love that I offer myself allows me to offer love to those in the world around me. I am grateful. I am love. I am peace. And I am the way that God gets around in this world. And so it is. Amen. And thank you. All right, she said it beautifully. I heard what she said, and I just wanted to take a moment to reiterate something that she just said. I hope you don't mind if I borrow it. Where to go? Okay. So what she said is you don't have to believe every single thought that tumbles through your head just because it sounds like you speaking. Right? Right? How did you get in my brain this week? And sometimes all you can do is say good night and tuck your demons in the bed because they're not worth fighting. Turn out the lights on your racing mind. A running list of all your doubts and your dead ends, and when you pull yourself out of bed, you taste them on the tip of your tongue. And in the morning, when you're standing in the shower with the water pouring down, you dwell on all you ever did wrong. Turn out the lights on your racing mind. What good has ever come of it? What answers will you find? Turn out the lights on your racing mind. What an invitation, huh? Yeah. And what an invitation when we have stepped into the month of February, and we know we're doing Unity's 12 powers this year, and the power in the month of February is strength. And I remember every time until this year that I've done 12 powers, and many Unity churches, when they do 12 powers, the month of February is strength. And everybody goes, well, no, it should be love. Because it's February and it's Valentine's and it should be love. So let's change it to love. No, we're doing strength. Because how much strength does it take to love you? I don't know about you, maybe you guys have perfected it, but I have spent way too much time lately telling myself how I've got to get back into the gym because I've put on some weight and how terrible I look and how much flab I have and how this little roll in the front. I've spent so much time doing that lately. That race, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Because we illuminate it, right? That's a great way to put it, because when we concentrate on something, when we fixate on something in our mind, it's like turning a big beacon light onto it. We're shedding all that light and giving all that energy to it. Often, our inner talk is just feeding our inner demons. And it's feeding the belief that we're not good enough, no matter what anybody else out here is saying. You know, I was in Unity Village for my final, thank you, God. Oop, did I say that? For my final pre-minister ordination residency this past week, and Mike stepped up and did a brilliant job last Sunday. I wish there was a way we could just both do this every week all the time, and so everybody, and who knows what the future holds, right? And so I was there for my final residency, and last year, it's funny, all my little memories that pop up, and one of the memories that popped up was this Sunday last year. It wasn't exactly this date, but the Sunday that I came back from residency, I kind of pulled a little cute fool on you guys, and I had Tina put a picture into the slideshow of my boyfriend that I met at Unity Village for residency. Some of you may remember it was the big dog, Zeke. Yes, Zeke of the purple hair. His mom dyes part of his hair purple sometimes. Well, this year, Zeke was in his normal hair color, and he and I had a great love affair once again, but it's just fascinating for someone or something to be a mirror to you of how lovable you are. And I shared with you last year that as long as I stayed put in a seat, so did Zeke. But when I got up and walked around the room, he was like, oh, there she is again. And he would come over and he would stay with me and walk with me, and it was lovely. And his mom and I were trying to figure out what that was a statement about, because he is a service dog. So what was I needing? And this year, I've upgraded to an actual human to share relationship with. And I stand on this stage with an actual boyfriend this year, which brings me to the turn off those thoughts in your racing mind. Because regardless, I have discovered, especially over the past week, here I go telling on me again, doggone it. I have discovered that regardless of how many times I hear from him, you look beautiful. Thank you so much for being with me. I love being with you. Your hair is this, or you, all of these affirming statements, the louder it gets in here about the flab and the ugliness and the this and the that. I want you guys to hear this, because I swear, I've told you we're all learning this together. We're all walking this together. I have a very, very loud inner critic. Oh, and she's nasty. And she is cutting and biting at times. And I found, we actually had a conversation while I was in Unity Village about how he would really appreciate it if I would stop doing that. So mirror, mirror in the world, what are we learning? What are we able to have mirrored back to us? What are we able to turn off the light on? Because it's our choice. It doesn't feel like it all the time, but it is our choice what we shine the light on in here. Our mind ideates. It's what it's supposed to do. It's what it's made for. And sometimes what it ideates is the radio static in the background that we kind of need to not focus in on and not illuminate. I realized this week, among 1,000 other realizations, because these residencies are designed to find our comfort zone, find out what we feel and believe about ourselves, and then go, here, jump, here, fly into this, here, tell me what you think about that. And I found myself realizing, because as I told you guys before, I've gone through some thoughts about the fact that I have shown up in this newer relationship 9 months now. Can you guys believe it? 9 months. So I have shown up in this relationship in a way I've never shown up in relationship. And it is literally and figuratively, in some cases, shining a light on all of my insecurities, with a heartfelt invitation to look squarely at myself and realize that I too am worthy of love. It all happens in here. All anyone out here can do is invite you to the doorway. You have to step through it. I have to step through it. And so it is up to each and every one of us to allow ourselves that journey. Sometimes the longest journey you're ever going to take is from the thoughts in your head to the space in your heart. At least it is for me. I don't know about anyone else. So this residency, because it was our final one, was all about, and they didn't say, prove that you can do it, but they might as well have said, prove that you can do it. Because most of the days of this residency, we would show up in the morning and they would say, oh, did we send you an agenda of what we were doing today? Well, that's not what we're doing today. Today we would like you have 2 minutes to figure out what it is you're going to do, and each of you is going to give a 7-minute long talk on fill in the blank. And they would give us the topic, and then they would say, and by the way, no clocks, no timers, and if you go over 7 minutes, we're just going to stop you. You need to be complete within 7 minutes. And the first person that got up finished in about 3 and said, that wasn't 7 minutes? And naturally, the topics they gave us were like, come on, dig in here and lay it all out here for every one of us. And as the people went around the room, all 20 of us doing different talks, by midway, they were going, okay, time, and the person wasn't done yet. And by 2/3 of the way through, we were all on the edge of our seats and in tears, watching people reveal their hearts. And we didn't want it to end. And by the time the last person finished, we were all in tears and hugging and loving all over each other and giving each other that love that we would love to give ourselves. And on day 3, the first activity in the morning, one of our facilitators, cohort leaders, said, okay, here's what we're doing this morning. Each one of you is going to come up here, and I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. And you are going to stand here in front of everyone for 1 minute and tell everyone what you adore about yourself. Not what you love about yourself, what you adore about yourself. And once again, the room begins, and the first person has a hard time making it through 1 minute. Now, 1 minute, that can be just so, it's the blink of an eye. Unless you're being asked to tell everyone and yourself what you adore about yourself. So that's your homework assignment for this week, should you choose to accept it. At some point during this week, maybe multiple times, especially multiple times if you have a hard time doing it, I want you to stand in the mirror for a minute, set a timer, and I want you to tell yourself what you adore about yourself for 1 solid minute. It's amazing to stand in that place and to be that vulnerable, to actually say, there are things about me to adore. There are things about me, oh wait, I actually adore. And you know what? I get to say them out loud because they're true. And people would have no problem saying them to you. Usually the biggest person that has the problem with it is ourselves. To claim that, I realized this week, midway through the week after having that conversation with John this week, who basically gently said, I really wish you would stop doing that. Please, stop doing that. It's getting in the way of your ability to have a relationship. John doesn't go to church or Unity. And who has come to teach the teacher, right? We're all teaching the teacher within us, and we are all learning at the same time. So we're invited to realize at the deepest levels that we have so much about each one of us to love and adore. It was fascinating to watch the way that one went. The first person did okay, although it was hard for them to come up to a minute. And as the flow went through the room, and this is something to realize when you're thinking about and leaning into what we love about ourselves, to be heart connected with you. It's so easy for me to heart connect with any one of you in this room and to tell you how amazing and wonderful you are and how much talent you have and how much I appreciate your presence and how much I want you here and love you here and what a difference you make to the world simply by showing up, walking outside, putting on clothes, and being in humanity with other people. It's so easy for me to do that with any one of you because you're amazing. To do that with myself is a whole other ballgame. And we found that halfway through the room of all 20 of us, some people started out with, I love my smile. I love the way I can be with people in crisis and be a steadying force. I love how you show up for others. I love all of you. And they started to step away from loving themselves to loving everybody else. Because there's my safe zone. This is my safe zone. This doesn't always feel so safe or so loving. It takes a lot of strength to love yourself fiercely, unconditionally. Can you love yourself unconditionally? Can we even do that? I've heard so many times people say, oh, you've got to love yourself first if you want anyone else to love you. On the plane home yesterday, I invited myself into a new relationship with that. You've got to love yourself before you can even try to let anyone else love you. Because it's all about permission. I give myself permission to love me. I give myself permission to love others, but we can only receive what we're willing to give. We can only give from the level we're willing to receive. And that's why halfway through the room, it became an academic exercise of celebrating everyone else for some of the people in the room because they can't, couldn't, wouldn't go here. We've been told so many times that to love ourselves to that degree, it's egotistical. It's all settled in the ego. And what right do we have to say that I too am a part of the allness of Godness? God is in here. God is acting through my hands and feet and words and deeds and heart and love and actions. I am a vessel for God. I am the hands and feet and ears and eyes and mouth of God in this world to bring it to everyone else. And I can only bring it to anyone else at the level to which I am willing to experience it myself. Words are great. And some of the people in my ministerial cohort during this week got challenged to make them more than words. Because we can say anything. One of the exercises this week was they had told us to prepare a talk about our creed and what we believe. And they said you're going to be using your papers and your notes. So prepare your papers and your notes. Mel, you're going to love this one. And then right before we were getting ready to give the credo talk, see, we had to do it twice. Once to each of our facilitators, and they are very different from one another. One of them loves that you would be so organized and that you would have great notes and you would read from your paper. And one of them says, Nikki, says, paper? Why would you ever want to stand in front of people with a piece of paper in your hand? And so we were told right before we were to get up and give our talks, close your folders, put away any materials on your table. I don't want to see anything in front of you, and get up and go for 5 to 7 minutes. And some in our cohort, we call it the unwritten curriculum. Whenever you step up to learn anything in life, there's what you're supposed to be learning, and then there's what you will learn. And what you will learn is always underneath what you're actually learning. And the unwritten curriculum for some of the people who were losing their ever-loving minds and coming up with very well-thought arguments as to why this was not fair or should be allowed in the moment, and one who was literally red with anger in our classroom, we're told, you guys know Nikki, and she gets this little smile. And this little smile, and she said, are you or are you not stepping up to be a minister? And some of the people who were maddest about having their notes taken away are already in ministry like I am, and they were losing their mind. And she said, how many days do you show up for work as a minister and everything goes according to what's on the paper? And this talk that we were supposed to be doing was about what we believe, our creed, our credo. What is our belief? What do we believe? And she said, do you or do you not know what you believe? That's a question for all of us. Do you or do you not know what you believe? And you can do it about certain things. I believe this about relationship. I believe this. Take a deep dive. What do you really believe about relationship? Do you believe that you are worthy of love at the absolute deepest levels? Do you believe it when someone says you are beautiful? Or is there an inner demon in here that you need to turn the light off on? Is there someone saying, and you're fat? That's mine. I'll just be honest with you. You're flabby, you're fat, you have cellulite. Yeah. You did lose more weight. You didn't work out 3 times this week. You only worked out twice. What is it? You're not worthy of saying, you're not worthy of doing. What do you really believe? In your heart, not in your mind, in your heart, about you and your worthiness and your ability to love and the ability of people to love you. Do you believe they can? I found my growing edge in relationship, and that was my husband died. No one will ever be able to love me like he did. My husband died. I had the love of my life. I will never find relationship where I will be that fulfilled again in my life. These were the demons in my head. And I believed them. And I gave them a lot of light. And then this beautiful man said to me this week, are you ready to let that go? I don't know. I'm trying. I'm just going to be honest. I'm trying. I'm working on it. And I turn on the light on something new and different in my mind, that there is the possibility that I will be loved very differently, but at equal depth than I was before. that I can love differently, but at equal depth to how I loved before. I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't said, I love you. There's a lot of things that show it. And we're humans. We're in this space of, am I worthy? What would happen if I said something? Someone posted this week, and it was so beautiful, to pay attention to the firsts. In this post, they said, pay attention to that first kiss. How does it make you feel? What are you allowing in that first kiss moment? And my thought in that was, yeah, absolutely. Remember those firsts, because sometimes they'll be your last first. My mom and I had a conversation in the car on the way here this morning about heaven and hell and death and letting go. Yeah, just a little light conversation on the way in. And we've never had a conversation like that before. And it was a new and different experience to have that kind of conversation with my mom. I know that may sound weird to many of you if you've been close to your parents and stuff. I've had a different path with my mom and with my parents at times in my life. And she said, at this age of my life, I spend more time thinking about things like what happens after we die and heaven and hell. Let's have the bravery this week to have conversations like that, to have those at-depth conversations, to ferret out what we believe and make room for our beliefs to shift. I can't believe it, but I had never had the conversation with my mom. I'm surprised still, even saying this to you, that about when my husband died. And I've shared it with, I thought every human being on this planet, but let me share it again in that in his last seconds, I have never seen a human look happier. He was gleeful. And as I told Mom, I don't know what he saw, but I want to see that. Not yet. And there will be a day at which I will be offered that same doorway to step through. And I want to see that. I want to be gleeful, and I want to know that there is this expansive opportunity out there for me, and I can't wait to step across the threshold when that threshold is the one I'm about to step across. So let's find that glee with every threshold we're about to step across. Where's the next first kiss? Where's the next first hello? Where is the next first opportunity to step up new and different in something than we've ever stepped up before? Look for the firsts this week. It's almost Valentine's Day. Don't feel pressured that it has to be about romantic love. Don't feel pressured to be a certain kind of way. You gotta love in here first. And it transforms the love that we find on the outside of our existence. You are made in the image and likeness of God itself. Do you believe that God is love? Because if you do, so are you. Love you first and create that much more space for love in this world. I love you guys. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And while Tina's coming up, one more piece of homework for you this week. When you adore something about someone else in this room, and there's so much to adore about everyone in this room, maybe at the end of service, take a moment when you run into someone. I'm not one of those people that says, turn to the person next to you and tell them you adore them. You might not even know the person next to you, okay? And if there's something you love about someone here, and you can grab a hold of them before you walk out of this door, how about grabbing a hold of them and telling them something you love and adore about them today? Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.